Prepare for a wonderful journey. We want you to actively join us on this journey by sharing your thoughts on each topic we cover and sticking around until the end of the video. You'll learn and grow on this journey. The next few moments are your chance to deeply reflect and better understand who you are. We believe the lessons we're going to share will enlighten and change your life. Let's get started. Dealing with people who hurt you. You don't have to defend yourself to those who hurt you. You don't have to complain, argue, or get into a fight over someone's bad attitude. If someone has made choices that disrespected and hurt you, even if you thought they were a perfect friend, it's better to move on without trying to find reasons. Don't lose your cool. Putting your attention on yourself and your growth. That person might need you and ask for your help at some point. It's fine to say no, and if you need to, you can explain why. If this person broke your trust and didn't show character, you don't have to help them, so there's no need to get into a fight. The best thing to do is to quietly remove that person from your life, because time will show what they did. Take care of yourself and let the future show you what's best for both of you. When we let ourselves move forward without having to defend or explain our choices, we show that we respect ourselves and our limits. It's important to remember that we don't have to hang out with people who hurt us or don't value us. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect and appreciated for who they really are. If we choose to quietly cut ties with people who hurt us, we're making a brave choice for our emotional health and personal growth, which will help us live a more authentic and fulfilling life. Not needed goals. Set goals that aren't important. There will be times when you realize how important it is to make decisions, act in a certain way, or stay true to your own path. Sometimes you'll have to give up certain goals in order to focus on the path that is most in line with your essence. This is normal since we don't always get everything we set out to do. However, it's important to quietly lose these goals with be smarter about this process by quietly getting rid of less important goals and making small changes to your life as the cards are dealt. Always act with discretion to protect your plans and let your decisions be based on who you are, seeking the path that is most in line with who you are. Point. Connections, whether they're love or friendship. People shouldn't share private information or vent to others about why a friendship or relationship ended. The information shared is private and should only be seen by the two people involved. Other people don't need to know the reasons. Also, people shouldn't hear about fights or bad situations because it can lead to gossip and make things worse. If you need to talk to yourself and think about what happened. If you feel the need to share, it could mean that there are still wounds that need to be healed. No matter what the situation is, you should look at these behaviors in private without telling anyone else. If you're in a bad relationship, you should get rid of it without telling everyone else. Keeping these things private and dealing with them internally will help. Help people accept things and get better. Protect everyone's privacy and dignity. Take care of your own mental health in a smart and private way. Fourth point, when things are tense, don't raise your voice in public. And don't show too much frustration or anger. If you're upset, channel that emotion into actions that will make things better. Drive yourself to reach your life goals with that energy and teach your body how to deal with worry. Keep your feelings in check, think about them, and use the energy you've built up to do something that makes you stronger. But be careful because losing control can make you vulnerable during tense times. Try to ease this stress in a quiet way by solving problems, taking care of your duties, and using reasoning as your tool. Don't talk about your problems with other people. Instead, be grateful for what and who is already in your life. Get rid of the stress in your life, quietly looking for inner peace and better ways to deal with problems. Please leave a comment if you've made it this far to show that you really want to change. Feel free to click like and sign up to get more posts like this. Let's go on. Fifth, don't tell other people what you think about so-and-so. In fact, you shouldn't even say what you think about them. Keep these negative thoughts in your mind and really think about what image you are presenting when you talk badly about someone. You could have an interesting conversation or add to the conversation if you didn't ruin the mood to vent your anger about that person. Don't compare people. Don't say who you like or dislike in public. If you don't like someone, you can stay away from them or try to live with them in a way that is acceptable to both parties. Always act smartly. If there is a problem with that person, try to talk things out and find a solution. However, you should immediately let go of any opinions or judgments you have about them. As we already said, no matter how much you like or dislike someone, you should always act diplomatically to show that you can adapt to different situations. Maintain a polite and understanding posture when you talk to other people, and this will help make the world a better place and improve your relationships with other people. Sixth point, don't compare yourself to other people all the time. Each person should be proud of their own accomplishments and wins, regardless of how they compare to others. Comparing our lives to others can be bad for our mental health, stop us from growing as people, and bring down our self-esteem because we risk getting into the trap of unfavorable comparison. When we constantly compare ourselves to others, we lose sight of our own goals and desires. We focus on what we think we should have or achieve based on other people's standards, which keeps us from moving forward on our own journey and reaching our own goals. By not comparing ourselves to others, we can learn to be thankful for our own situations and celebrate our own progress and growth. Remember that everyone has their own way and situation, and comparing yourself to others is neither fair nor healthy. We all have different strengths, weaknesses, and life paths. Focusing on our own learning and personal growth is more helpful than comparing ourselves to others. Seventh point, use with care. Being aware of how you use social media. For a moment, picture your life as a book full of interesting tales. Now imagine that social media is a library where millions of other stories are shared every second. Sounds exciting, right? But there is a small risk here. Non-stop comparison. As we read these digital stories, we often find ourselves comparing the hardest parts of our own lives to the best parts of other people's. This kind of comparison, which is often unfair and false, can make us unhappy and envious. To avoid this, it's important to learn how to limit how much of these digital stories we read. Imagine that you chose to come to this digital library with a clear goal in mind. You go in and find exactly what you need, whether it's a link, inspiration, or information. Then you leave and go back to the reality of your own book, the book of your life. But how do you do this in real life? Set times during the day to check your social media accounts instead of getting lost in it all the time. For example, check your accounts during breakfast, your lunch break, and at the end of the day. This will help you build a structure that keeps social media from taking over your time and thoughts. Another good tip is to think about the purpose behind every online interaction. Ask yourself, am I looking for something constructive here or just killing time? This can help you tell the difference between purposeful use and aimless passive consumption. It's also important to know how to tell if social media is hurting your mood or self-esteem. If you feel down after using these sites, it might be time to stop. Remember that everyone has a unique path to walk, full of ups and downs, successes and failures. That's what makes each story, including yours, so valuable and unique. As we say goodbye to this topic, I want you to think about how you can start writing the next chapter of your story today with less influence from the digital world and more focus on what really matters in your life. Let's go on this journey of self-discovery and growth together, turning stress into strength and doubt into clarity. Today's 8th point is the search for acceptance from others. We live in a world where people's worth often depends on how other people see them. Today, I want you to think about the freedom that comes from breaking free from this never-ending search for approval. Imagine being on stage with a crowd of people watching and giving their opinion on how you should act, speak, and be. Can you see how suffocating this can be? Now imagine leaving the stage and walking into a peaceful, quiet space where the only opinion that matters is your own. This metaphor shows how important it is to listen to and value your own inner voice above the outside noise. We lose touch with who we really are and what we really want when we base our actions and choices on the need to be liked. It's like always trying to fit into clothes that don't fit just to please other people. Think about the times you felt happiest and most fulfilled. Those were probably times when your values and beliefs were in line with what other people thought or expected. That's what it means to live authentically. But how can we do this in our daily lives? It starts with small steps. For example, the next time you're about to make a choice, ask yourself, what would I want? Learn to believe in yourself and your gut feelings. Know what you want and what you need. Increasing your self-esteem and recognizing your strengths is another strong thing you can do. Enjoy what you've done well and learn from your mistakes. Remember that accepting yourself is a process that never ends, and that every little win is important. Finally, build relationships with people who support and encourage you to be your best self. Spend time with people who respect your uniqueness and encourage you to express your true essence. When we let go of the need for outside approval, we open the doors to a more authentic and rewarding path. It's a path that lets us be the real heroes of our own stories, writing them with the ink of courage and authenticity. Ninth point, how we treat our relationships, whether they're friendships or romantic ones, is like a mirror that shows different parts of our lives. They give us experiences that shape who we are, but there's a fine line between being too caring and being too controlling. Right here is the line between privacy and trust. It's helpful to think of a relationship as a secret garden where you can grow feelings, dreams, and special times. This garden is sacred, a space that deserves respect and care. When a relationship ends, whether a friendship or a romance, it's natural to feel pain, confusion, and a need to process what happened. However, it's essential to remember that the details of this garden, this shared story, belong only to you and the other person involved. By choosing not to divulge intimate details or reasons for the breakup, you're not only preserving the dignity of both parties, but also protecting your own heart. Sharing this information with others can open doors to misunderstandings, judgments, and worse, gossip. This doesn't contribute to healing, rather, it can prolong the pain and create a cycle of negativity. So how can we deal with the end of a relationship? Healthfully, first, it's crucial to give yourself time and space to heal. Allow yourself to feel the emotions, but do so introspectively if necessary. Seek the support of a mental health professional, someone who can provide objective guidance and support. Second, cultivate the habit of personal reflection instead of seeking external validation or comfort. Ask yourself what you've learned from this relationship and how you can use those lessons to improve your next one. Every relationship, even the ones that end, teaches us something. Finally, remember that keeping things private and secret is a sign of maturity and respect, not only for the other person, but also for yourself. As you close a chapter in your life, do it with grace and honor, knowing that each event prepares you for the next one. With that, we conclude this third point. We hope this gives you some ideas on how to end a relationship with grace and respect, while still giving the other person the privacy and respect they deserve. 10th point. Letting go of standards that are too high. This is a call to an inner journey where we'll look at how our expectations can shape and sometimes distort how we see the world. Let's begin with a metaphor. Imagine that your life is a big adventure across a huge ocean. Each expectation is like a sail on your boat that helps you move toward your dreams and goals. But when these sails get too big, or our expectations become unrealistic, they can throw us off track and into rough waters of disappointment and dissatisfaction. When we have unrealistic expectations, it's like using a map to find treasure that doesn't exist. These expectations push us to find perfection in ourselves, others, and the situations we face. But we should ask ourselves if these expectations are really ours, or if they came from outside sources like society, culture, or even the media. Before we can let go of these expectations, we need to be aware of them. This needs honesty and self-reflection. Ask yourself, do these assumptions make me feel good or bad? Do they show what I value and who I really am? Acceptance practice is the next step in the practice acceptance process. Accepting who you are, where you are on your journey, and the things you can't change doesn't mean giving up on your dreams. It means recognizing and enjoying the process of getting there, with all of its flaws and problems. Also, it's important to learn how to set goals that are attainable and that are in line with who you really are, not with an idealized version of success. It's also important to enjoy the little wins along the way, and remember that the journey is just as important as the destination. Letting go of unrealistic expectations makes life flow more naturally and peacefully, making room for surprises and joys that couldn't have been planned. With that, we conclude this Let Go of Unrealistic Expectations. Fourth point. I hope it inspires you to go through life with SALs, adjusting to real life and enjoying the ride with all of its turns and discoveries. 11th point. Now we'll talk about something that we don't talk about much in everyday life, but it has a big effect on our health and the relationships we build. Gossiping and spreading bad vibes. In this section, we'll talk about how choosing to stay away from these behaviors can not only make us feel better, but also make our relationships better. Think of every word we say as a seed we plant in our own and other people's gardens. When we choose words of support, encouragement, and positivity, we plant seeds of kindness and understanding. On the other hand, when we gossip or talk negatively, we plant weeds of misunderstandings, mistrust, and fights. It may seem harmless or even a way to make friends, but gossip is a two-way street that leads to disrespecting and devaluing others and ourselves. Also, focusing on negativity feeds a mindset that makes it hard to see the good and positive around us. So how can we get off this path and onto a more positive one? First, it's important to be aware of the conversations we have. When a conversation starts to veer into gossip, it's time to stop. This one question can help us keep our conversations respectful and helpful. Another important thing you can do is make a good vibe by hanging out with people who value being honest and happy in their interactions. That way, you can build a culture where people honor and help each other. Last but not least, understand that you are the first person who can change things. Not taking part in rumors and bad things will happen to you, and you'll be protecting yourself as well. Just click follow if you liked the movie. Press the bell and don't forget to like and comment. That way you'll know when I add new movies. Here are 2 more movies. Have fun on your way to becoming smart. Spend some time with God. Self-talk that is bad. Instead of criticizing yourself, be kind to yourself and say good things to yourself. Poisonous relationships. Stay away from people who are poisonous and spend time with people who make you feel good. Procrastination. Stop putting things off and make a promise to do them right away. Bad eating habits. Eating more healthy foods and less junk food will help your body stay healthy. Too much screen time. Limit the time you spend on electronics and put activities and interactions with real people first. Clutter. Get rid of the things that are taking up room in your home to make it more organized and peaceful. Expectations that are too high. Make goals that you can reach and be easy on yourself when things don't go as planned. Gossiping. Don't take part in negative talks about other people. Instead, work on having positive conversations. Fear of failing. Accept loss as a way to get better and as a chance to learn something important. Mindless spending. Be aware of what you're buying and spend your money on things that will really make your life better. Comparison. Don't compare yourself to other people. Instead, focus on your own journey and be proud of your unique skills and accomplishments.